World AIDS Day started in 1988 as an opportunity for people worldwide to unite in the fight against HIV and commemorate people who have died.
World AIDS Day to me is an opportunity to remember those who have passed and kind of commemorate their legacy and memory, to honor those living with HIV today, and to make a path for the future where there is no HIV or AIDS.
World AIDS Day is a day of remembrance and hope.
So some people don't realize that World AIDS Day actually began in MCC churches and was really actually a weekend-long prayer vigil because so many of the people that we knew and loved in our churches were dying. It was not unusual for MCC pastors in the 80s to spend their whole days on Saturdays just going from one funeral to the next, burying church members.
In St. Louis, there are currently 6,145 people living with HIV/AIDS. And of those people living with HIV/AIDS, 1,195 people are not accessing medical care.
Our son came out in 1989 in the heat of the AIDS crisis. Most of the gay men were in the closet at the time, and when they were diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, many were kicked out of their homes and left to deal with a fatal illness by themselves without family or friends. I was overwhelmed with the prejudice that existed at that time, and I wanted to learn and do something to help. So I became involved with Doorways, an interfaith AIDS housing organization.
World AIDS Day remains important because it reminds the public and government that HIV has a face and has not gone away.
I had a lot of friends who passed away from AIDS, and they were the ones who paved the way with some of the medications that were presented at that time. And so I do World AIDS Day for them. I mean, it's the most respectful way of paying it back to them, paying respect to them. You know, I think World AIDS Day is so important just for, even if you don't know anyone with AIDS, but just know the things that they've gone through and the challenges that they had during that period of time.
In 2016, 1 million people worldwide died of AIDS-related illnesses.
27 years ago, my young, talented Uncle Jeffrey died from HIV. He was 30 years old. However, there are still people who are living in silence, who are living in fear, and who are not aware that there are people who will listen, who will help them get access to medications, and who will help them live their best lives.
In Missouri, as of 2015, there were 465 people diagnosed with HIV. 228 of those people were ages 25 to 44.
World AIDS Day is a global initiative to raise awareness, fight prejudice, and improve education about HIV/AIDS.
Hi, I'm Cleve Jones, and I'm recording this in San Francisco, California. It's been 30 years since the Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt was first unfolded on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. In the 3 decades that have passed, much has changed in the fight against AIDS, and much has improved for those of us who are living with the disease. But there still remains a great deal of work that needs to be done. This December 1st is World AIDS Day, and this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us who care about this disease to work together, to find the policies and the plans and the funding to continue our progress. We all know there's still no vaccine and no cure in sight, but what we also know is that treatment equals prevention, and that people like myself who are living with HIV can no longer transmit the virus due to proper treatment. We also know that individuals whose behavior places them at risk for contracting HIV can protect themselves with pre-exposure prophylaxis. Sadly, not all of these advances have been made available to all who need them the most. Marginalized communities in our own country and all around the world still have not accessed these life-saving drugs. So this World AIDS Day, let's recommit ourselves to the struggle against HIV/AIDS and work together to cross all of those boundaries and barriers that the virus uses to spread. Thank you very much.
HIV is nothing, it's not a joke, and it's still going on, and we are still trying to fight it. And I think, the more we make people aware of what's going on with HIV and AIDS, I think the better we all will be.
Some of the work that is yet to be done involves HIV stigma. There are a lot of people that fear being tested. The disease still has a very negative connotation. I think we have a lot of work to do to make this world a world where whether you're HIV positive or HIV negative, it doesn't matter.
And I remain involved. The fight goes on. Unfortunately, people are still living with prejudice and the health needs exist. Being involved has been an educational and growth experience for me, which I will be forever grateful.
That's why World AIDS Day is so important. World AIDS Day celebrates the struggles and the victories all across the country. It helps unite us to know that we are all together in this fight, and we will continue every day until HIV is eradicated in this country and across the world.
World AIDS Day is important to me for a few reasons. One, it's a great opportunity to advocate. It's also an opportunity to educate. I think one of the best things about the progress we've made with HIV is the one-pill regimens and increased viral suppression. So from here on, I hope that we can move forward where we just get down to, as they say, the goal is zero.
World AIDS Day remains a very important day. It's a day to educate and empower. It's a day to remember and commemorate. And it's a day of hope and celebration. World AIDS Day is a day for us to lift up the names of those we've lost in the struggle and to continue to fight like hell for the living. So please come join me December 1st, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Missouri History Museum.